The word barbecue seems to originate in Haiti, where indigenous people developed a method of cooking meat outdoors over a wooden structure long before Columbus arrived. Nobody knows exactly when humans started grilling, but it's safe to assume that we've been cooking outdoors longer than indoors. In Thailand, many homes and restaurants have a popular kind of barbecue. It's a small, portable charcoal burner. This new, more efficient design has become increasingly popular both in Thailand and abroad. Workers start by adding the raw materials to a mixer, beginning with clay. They add a fiber derived from ground-up rice husks. This fiber reinforces the clay, giving it added strength and helping to prevent the finished product from cracking at high temperatures. The correct mixture is 2 parts clay to 1 part husk. Once the mixer thoroughly blends the materials, it extrudes the resulting compound in a thick ribbon, ready for the next phase of production. A worker rolls the clay in a small quantity of a third material also derived from rice. This is rice husk ash, and adding it to the clay helps prevent mold growth. A craftsman places the clay inside a specially shaped mold, which sits on a potter's wheel. As the wheel turns the mold, the craftsman works with a metal arm and handheld tools to spread and shape the clay. He then removes the fully formed clay pot. Having marked out 3 locations on the rim of the pot, a craftsman now adds some husk ash to a handheld mold to prevent sticking. He then packs the mold with clay before pressing it into the pot's rim and inner surface. He smooths the clay around them, integrating them into the pot. These 3 elements will form raised supports for cooking pots, woks, and kettles. At this stage, the pot has air dried enough to safely remove it from the mold. The craftsman now uses a handheld tool to define and finish the edges of the rim and supports. He then uses a metal rectangular template to mark and cut out a small vent for air intake at the base of the pot. An artisan prepares a small disc of clay for a different stage of production. He uses a cylindrical metal tool to cut a series of 61 holes in the disc, creating a honeycomb pattern that will allow the passage of air. He uses a small beveled wooden tool to help smooth the edges of the holes. When the pots are fully formed, workers transfer them to the walk-in oven. Once there are a total of 500 pots and honeycombs inside, it's time to fire up the oven. The pots spend 8 hours in the oven at nearly 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. The firing process gives the gray clay a reddish tinge. To assemble the barbecues, a worker starts by creating a layer of rice husk between the clay pot and the zinc bucket. This insulates the metal from the barbecue's heat. He cuts out the rectangular vent that will allow air to flow into the bottom of the barbecue and help fuel the fire. He adds soil to the gap between the pot and the bucket to further insulate the exterior metal from the interior heat. The craftsman now seals all the gaps in the barbecue with mortar in order to keep the husk and soil firmly in place. The honeycomb disc fits perfectly into the bottom of the pot. It will hold charcoal up above the vent hole, allowing air to flow up through it, fueling the fire, while permitting ash to fall down into the cavity below. A worker carefully mortars the disc in place. This barbecue is a low-tech but highly effective outdoor stove, useful whenever it's too hot to cook inside.